Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create login functionality with REST API in React. So in this video I will show you the step-by-step implementation of the login forms. So first of all we need to install, or let's say we need to use the REST API. Here we will use the Node.js REST API. But I'm not going to show you how to create it, but we will directly clone it from the one of the GitHub repository. In second step, we will design React applications using several components such as login, dashboard, home page. In third steps, we will implement the authenticated routes. And at last, we'll test our login form. So, first of all, we need a secure REST API. Let's set up our API using Node.js applications, where we will mainly use two APIs. One is for user signing, another one is for verified token. So let me show you. This is our site, cluemediator.com. I will add this link in description box. So this is part 2, where we have explained like how to create a REST API using Node.js. I'm not going to explain you everything over here, but we will directly clone the Node.js project from the repository. So this one is the output. At last, you can see demo and source code is there. Let me check the GitHub repository. Here, let me directly clone this repository and just going to write like git clone and repository. And yes, we have this repository. Let me jump into the repository. Okay, right now I'm in auth API. Let me show you this one. I think let me open this project in VS Code. Yeah, this one is a Node.js REST API where this code is already written. This is one sample user informations, like password is 123456 and username is cluemediator and name is cluemediator. So we will use this username and password for login purpose. But here if you can look into it, we have middleware is already there. Then after this is get API, it's a secure API, and we need, if we want to access this API, we need to pass the token. So let me show you that part as well. So let me first start these applications. For that, first of all, we need to install it. So for that, you can just write npm install. It will automatically install the all dependent modules, and then after we can start it like npm start. Here if you can look into it, we have two APIs. One is user/sign-in, another one is verified tokens. So we will mainly use this both APIs. One API is used for login purpose, another one is to verify the tokens. Okay, so now if you can look over here, let me close this one. I think this is not required now. So here this project is already started. If you can just type localhost 4000, and here is the message is coming. This is get API, so that's why this message is coming like success false and message is invalid user to access it. So to access this get API, we need to pass token. So that means our project is running. I mean Node.js project is running. So up to this, this Node API is fine. We don't need to write anything over here. Let me minimize these things and check the next steps. So in the next step, we will design our React applications. So for that, first of all, we will create 3 components. One is home component. We can access this component with or without login. Second component is login. This component we can access it without login only. So let's say if I'm already logged in the React applications and try to access this login component, then we need to restrict this part. Okay, similarly for dashboard, we can only access this component after login. So if we have a token, then and then we can access this component. And at last we need to manage all three components using routing. So let's implement this part, these React applications. So for that, you can see this is login app ReactJS. This one is created using create React app, and I have already started it. It's look like this. Let me show you. Okay, so this one is like this. Now we will remove all unnecessary part. Let's say setup, test, logo, these all things are not required, so I'm just going to remove it from the applications. Okay, let me also remove few configurations. I'm just going to remove it for the demo purpose. So like for now we will only focus on our login functionality. Let me remove all things from the page. Okay, now this is fine. I think let's check it. Its error is coming, but when you reload it, okay, everything is fine. So in the first steps, we need to create three components. So let me create three component, home.js as the first one. For that, I'm just going to import React from React. To say constant home. Here I'm going to create a functional component. You can create a class component, but let me create a functional component. Export default home, and here we'll return div say welcome to the home page. Okay, so let me change the spacing indent to 2. Okay, this is fine. Now similarly, let me create two more components. One is one is login.js. Another one is dashboard. For login.js, let me slightly change the name, login. Similarly for dashboard, let me change name as dashboard. Okay, so far this is good. Now our steps, like next step is we need to import, we need to add the routings. So for that, let me add the routing library React router DOM, npm install React router DOM. If you don't know how to use or how to implement routing in React, then I have already created a separate video on routing. I will add this link in description box. You can check these links. Okay, this one is installing. Meanwhile, let me write a few code in app.js. One is let's say we have app. So let me create two more div. One is called class name header. Another one is for the content. Now if you can look into it, let me check the package.json. Here we have React router DOM package is installed, so this is fine. Let me remove these ones, minimize this. Okay, so now first of all we'll try to import React. From React, and the second one we need to import the React router DOM, and for that first of all we'll use browser router, then switch, then after route and nav link. Okay, so for that we need to first import the browser router. We need to wrap this all component, app component using browser router to access the routing and this nav link. Second things is nav link. In nav link we should have home, one is login link, and then third one is dashboard. Okay, for login let me write some things like small and say access without token only. Similarly, let me write access with token only. Okay, now we need to define the few attributes. One is exact, another one is active class name. Here I will pass as a active, and the path. Okay, so for similarly we need to add it for the login. So I'm just going to add login. Here we don't need to add the exact keyword. But let me add some other path like active class name and the route. Okay, so this is our header. Let me write routing. So first of all we need to use switch. This switch is already installed from the React Router DOM, and now use route. So for route we need exact keyword for landing page, say slash, and the component should be nothing but home page, home component. May add few more. One is second one we need login component, and third one dashboard. So let me add dashboard login. We don't need to write exact keyword. So if you can look into it, all three components are auto imported. One is home, login, and dashboard. Let me save these all files and check in browser. Okay, we have all these things: home, login, and dashboard. So like routing is working, but we need to add the design, CSS for styling. So let me close all these things. We have index.css, right? So we will write a few code, like one is say header. For header I can say first of all we will add the padding. We can say 10 pixel is fine. Background color, that I can say ed app to app 4, and the border bottom you can say 1 pixel solid 999. Okay, it is fine. If you can check it, reload it. Oh, I need to save it. Yeah, it's like style is applying. Let me write style for the anchor tag. For that I can say color has 0072 app. We also need to write text decoration 9, margin left. Let me add few things. Margin left 20 pixels, margin right we can say 5 pixels is fine. Let me add one more hover effect, header a and hover effect, and here going to say color as 8A0F53 and say header small tag, style for small tag, and color we can say has 666. Okay, and at last we will add header dot active. For active class we can say color is has 2C7613. Okay, let's check design. Okay, I think this is good. Let me apply the view one more style for content. For content I can apply 20 pixels padding, so at least it looks good. Okay, yeah, I think this is fine. So like on home page we are going to simply say that welcome to home page. For login we need to design the login page, so let me also add, okay, yeah, let's start with the home page is fine, but for login page let me here I will create a simple login page. I'm not going to add any validations or other things, but simply I will create a login page with two fields. One is username, another one is password. So let me create that one. So first of all I can say login, its title, add two more br tag, then after going to add div. Here I can say username. We can also add the label, all these things in label, but let me first focus on the functionality. So I'm just going to add input fields and other things directly over here. Here say type as a text, and second things similarly we need password. So password is there, type as a password. Okay, so these two fields are coming fine. Let me add input type as button and value is login. Okay, this is good. Now we need br tag. Let me add br tag. So let's assume that we have a error message, right? Here we need to at least show the error message for invalid password. So for that let me define the state variable error set error, and for that we will use useState, and initially it become null. If we have error message, then we need to simply show the error message, say error and class. Let me apply the class as an error. So for testing purpose let me write invalid password. Not sure, but yeah, I think we need to apply the, let me remove these things. I think this is fine, but let me add div. Div is fine. For class error, just going to say color is red, margin bottom 10 pixel. Okay, I think this is fine. Let's focus on the functionality. So now let me remove these things. This is only for testing purpose. This one should be null. Okay, so similarly we will add loading. So for that I'm also going to use loading, set loading. Initially this one is false. If we have loading, then we will say loading, and also going to disable the button for loading. Okay, so this is fine. Now let's add major two state. One is username and another one is password. Username, set username, use state, and this one is empty by default. Similarly we will use password. So p is small. Let me add over here the value equal to username, and on change event we will say e set username e dot target dot value. Okay, so same things I will write over here. If you want, then we can create a custom hook and manage both functionality together. We don't need to write individually, but yeah, this is fine. Let me check it. Yes, this is good. So up to that, I think this is fine in dashboard. Sorry, in login. Now let's focus on the dashboard. Let me add one more functions called handle submit. Okay, so constant handle submit. Let me write handle login. It's all up to us. For that we can directly access the props. Let me write some things like this. This is also possible. history.push, and here I can say dashboard, and we need to handle the click event. On click say handle login. This is fine. Let's test it. Yeah, we can see we are now on dashboard. So let's update the dashboard. So for dashboard we will going to say welcome users. Later we will add the username, but for now let me write welcome users, adding to BI input, say type button, value equal to logout, and the on click event. Similarly I can say handle logout. So let me create functions called logout, constant handle logout, and here I can say similarly I will say props. That props we will pass it from the functions props dot history dot push, and this one we will say login. Okay, let's check it. Logout, login. Okay, I think everything is fine. Everything is working fine without login functionality. Okay, so guys, let's check the next one. So far we have implemented routing, all components, and they also manage the input fields for login functionality. So the next one is implement authenticated route. So for that, first of all, we will create a common utils where we can manage some common functions such as remove token, set user information, get tokens. The second, we will integrate the sign-in API. Third part, we will manage the logout in dashboard. Fourth, we will create public and private route. This is very important. And at last, we will handle the browser refresh functionality. So let's start with the first one, like create common utils. So for that, we will going to create one folder, say utils, where we can say common.js. This is our common file. So here we will write 4 functions. Export constant. First one is get user. These functions, from over here we will return the user information. Second one, we will say get token. These functions will return the token if we have that token, otherwise we will return null. Third function is to say set user session, and this one is used to set the user informations in session. And at last we will remove user session, okay. So to that, we need to manage all functions. Here guys, we will use this session storage to manage the tokens and the user informations. But if you want, then you can also manage all these things via session local storage or Redux. But here I'm going to use the session storage. First of all, I can say user string will try to read the user informations from the session storage dot get item will say user. If we have this item, let's say if we have this user string, then we will simply return this all informations by parsing it user string. Okay, if we don't have these informations, I can simply say return null. This is simple logic in the get user. Similarly, I will directly return the token from the session storage, say get item token. If I don't have this token, we will say return null. Third things, we need to set the user informations, right? So for that, we will try to read token and the user's informations from the parameters and set it in session storage. So for that, let's say set item, one is for token, say token, another one is for user informations. So for user, we need to stringify it, json.stringify user. Okay, so this is fine. So at last, we need to remove the session. So let me remove the session. Session storage dot remove item, say we need to first remove the token and also remove the user information. Okay, So yes, like we have this common file, this file we will, this common utils, this utils we will use all over the place in application. So first step is clear. In second step, let's integrate the sign-in API. So for that, we will use the Axios, and we need to manage this API in the login component only. So let me first install the Axios. npm install Axios. Now we will import this one over here. Let me just quickly import it. Axios. Okay, this will also, like, it's installing. Let's wait for a few seconds and we can see. So yes, it's installed now. So first of all, this should work. Let me save it. Oh, why it's not connecting? Axios is there. It's compiling, and yeah, now it's successful compiled. Okay, so let me close this one. So it's time to integrate the sign-in API. So for temporary, let me comment this one, and here we can say Axios dot. This sign-in API is a post API. Okay, so for that we need to use the post, and I'm going to directly say http localhost 4000 /user/ login. Sign in. So if you want, then you can just simply check this one in the this Node.js API where this endpoint is already mentioned. Okay, so we also need to pass the data. For data, it's a username and the password. Both things are required. Now if we have both things, then we can say then result will appears. I can say response. Okay, if it's failing, then we need to write a catch to handle the error. Okay, so let's look into it. First of all, we need to pass the username as a username. This is nothing but our username state variable. Similarly, this one is password. Let me write the console log. At least we can see some information. Console.log response is there. Say response. Similarly, let's try to look into the error. Say error, and error is there. Okay, let's check these things in browser. Go in over here, click on F12 to see the log, clear everything, click on login, and here you can see 400 error is coming from the API. Let's check this one. This one is saying like username and password is required. So like our API is working fine. Now we need to handle these all things via our state variable. So first of all, let me also pass the valid information and see. Cluemediator and password is 123456. Okay, yeah, I think yes, this is fine. We have two informations, one is token and another one is all the user informations. Okay, so let's try to handle all these things. First of all, we need to say like set error as a null, set loading as a true. When we have a response, we need to say set loading as a false in both the case. Let me also write over here. So if we have valid informations, then we need to set the user session. Set user session, right? This one is the one of the functions that we have created in common utils. So here we need to pass two informations, one is token, another one is user. So both things are there in our response. One is token, another one is users. We will we will store both things in session storage. But yeah, you can only store the token in session storage and manage user informations in the Redux. It's all up to you. Here I'm going to store both things in session storage. So first of all, I can say response.data and then after token. So this is token. Similarly, response.data.user. Okay, these both things are there, and at last we need to redirect it. Props.history, these things should be there. So let me say dashboard. Okay, now let's manage handle the error. So for that, here we have two more informations. Like let's say if I'm passing invalid informations, at the time it's throwing in 401 error. If we are passing bad some things like bad request, then it's 400. If we have unauthorized request, then 401. So let me first write, if we have error dot response dot status equal to 401 or it's 400, then we will directly say set error dot response dot data dot message, right? Else we can say some generalized message like some things went wrong, something went wrong, please try again later. Okay, so let me remove this one. This is fine, I guess. Hopefully this will work. Let me reload this page and see. We will also observe the XHR request. We don't need to check the all request, but let's check it. Initially when I click on it, it says like username password is required and this error is coming. This error message is coming from the API. Second things, if I'm passing some dummy informations and click on login, it say username or password is wrong. This is also coming in this API call, so this is also fine. Let me write correct informations, cluemediator, and password is 123456. Okay, yeah, we can see right now we are on dashboard after successful call. So guys, here we are in middle of the sixth part. Why we have integrated the sign-in API. I guess you understand all these things. Guys, please like and subscribe us for more videos. Let me continue this one first. Now this is like we have completed the second step. Now we need to manage the logout functionality in dashboard. So for that, let's jump into the dashboard. We need to remove the user session. So this function is already created in common utils and it's auto imported. So yes, this is fine. Now let's say if we have logged in user, then we need to get the user informations. So here I'm going to say users, constant users, and get user function is already there. So we'll use it, and here we can write some things like user.name. Okay, so let's check these things. Yeah, it's coming. I'm just passing informations. Let me test it again. Previously it was welcome user, now it's welcome cluemediator. Cluemediator is the name of the user. So this is fine. When I'm going to click on logout, this is also coming over here. So now this one is all about the logout in dashboard. So and in the post step, we need to create a public and private routes. This is very important. Suppose let's say if I'm going to click on dashboard, I don't have any tokens and other things, but we need to restrict this one. So for that, we need to write the code. So first of all, we need 3 different routes. One is normal route. That route is already written in our code. This one. Second one, we will write a public route, and third one we will write a private route. So let's create a public route first. So we need a simple public route.js page in utils. So here let me write a functional component. So first of all, we need to import React from the React. Okay, and write say constant public route. And say export default public route. Okay. Now this public route should have one parameters. Its component. We can alias it like component, and the second one is rest of all the parameters. This one is a spread operators. We need to return it route. So route that we need to import it from the React router.dom. You can see, and here let me change it to 2 spaces 2. Now in route, first of all we will use the rest parameter, and the second one is we write the render methods. So this render have a props. Okay, so we will use these props. Like first of all, we need to check this is public route, so we can say like if we have a token. If we don't have a token, then we need to return the component with all the props. Otherwise we can redirect to the dashboard. Okay, these all things should be imported. token, get token from the common utils. Another one is React Router DOM for redirect and route. You can also use, you can also write some things like path name and other things. Instead of that, you can say path name is, my path name should be like this. Both are same. Okay. So this is all about public route. Similarly, we need to create a private route. I can say private route. So in private route, we will use little bit different, like it's vice versa. If we have a token, then we need to render the component. Otherwise, we need to redirect on the login page. Login page, and here, if you want, then you can also capture the current state location. So we can say like from and props.locations. Okay. So this is fine. Both things are almost similar, just it's a minor conditions change. Now we need to update it in our app routing. So for that, instead of router, so first one is home component that can be accessible with or without token. So we will say it should be a simple normal route. This one is nothing but our public route. So here I'm going to write public route. Okay, it's auto imported. And the last third one is a private route because it's a dashboard. Okay, so let's check it. Now I'm on login. Something's wrong, I guess, guys. Let me check. These all things are there. Route is there. I forgot to return it. Oh, it's a silly mistake. That's why everything is coming empty. Now you can see, okay, this is now working. Let's say homepage is accessed right now without token. We can access the homepage, but when I'm going to click on dashboard, I can't access it. Even if I'm going to write dashboard, it's again jump on the login page. So like this is working fine. Let me test with it after login. Okay, now I'm logged in. Click on home page. This is working fine. Click on login. Again I am on dashboard. This one is selected. We'll test again. Okay, yeah. So that means this all functionality is working fine. So now this is good, but let's assume that if our token is expired, because we have some expiry time in our token. So let's assume that if our token is expired, then how we can manage it. Generally what happens when we are calling any private API, at the time we are passing the token. So if we receive the unauthorized response, then we can manage the automatic logout. But also I'm going to suggest you to check this token, verified token on page refresh. Okay, so on page refresh we need to verify the token. So that one is our fifth step, like handle the browser refresh part. So for that, let's write the code. So for that, let me check the page. We need to write code in app.js file. first of all, here we need to call an API to check the token. So before that, let me use one more variable, say auth login, set auth, I'm sorry, not login but loading. Let me change it, auth loading, and here we will use useState. Initially it's true. If we have auth loading is true, then we can simply say that return div, say checking authentication, and here let me apply the class called content. Okay, so we can also add one more condition, say if we have get token, make sure if we have a get token, if we have a token, then and then we need to verify these things, and at the time it's coming like this. If we don't have a token, we don't need to verify, we don't need to call API request. So this one is like this. This is common. Okay, this one is coming from the common utils. If you can see right now, it says checking authentications. We need to finish this request like this process. So first of all, we need to use the use effect, because here we have to call the API request, and this is nothing but our second API, verify token. So for that, let me say this one should be nothing but component did mount. So for that, first of all we need to check token, get token. If we have a token, if we don't have a token, then just simply return it. We don't need to check anything over here. But let's say if we have a token, then we need to call an API. Say this one is get API, where we can pass http localhost 4000 verified token, and pass the token. Okay, and here we need to pass the token. Let me use in different structures like this. Okay, now we have a token. I'm passing in the API request. So for that, I can say then, and response is there, and it's look like this. If we have a response, then we can write some things like catch. If we have error, it's a similar to login request. It's almost same. We need to manage all these things like this. Okay, but here let me say, first of all we need to change the authentications, auth loading flag. It should be a false in both the case. If it's error, then we can simply remove the user session. If we have success response, that means this API will also return the token and the user information, so we can store it in the session. Set user session, say response.data.token. This one is first one parameters, second one response.data.user. This is second one. Okay, so this is like this. Okay, so I think this is fine. Let's check this one, reload it. use peg score conditionally. Okay, I'm doing one mistake over here. Just use it like this. Okay, so here this is fine. Right now you cannot see any API request. Let me show you in console. In network, check the XHR, refreshing the page. No, you cannot see any request. But let's say I'm going to log in over here. Cluemediator, password is 123456, and say login. And now let me clear everything, reload it, and oh, it's verify. It's an authorized token is required. Oh, I think I made some mistake. Oh, see, this one is wrong. I need to pass some things like token is equal to, let me check again, it's logout. Let me test it again. Okay, clear everything, test again, and you can see this call is happening. Even you can see that one, that message is also coming. Let me show you that part. Change it to this slow 3G, reload it, and this page is reloading and checking the authentication. So this is like that. Let me reload it again and see that authentication message is coming. See, once we finish this request, we can immediately see the proper page. If I'm going to click on login, everything is fine. Dashboard fine. Logout is also fine. Now guys, let me also show you the purpose of this verify token. I mean this checking token on the auth request. So first of all, let me stop this server. Okay, open this project like VS Code. Suppose let's assume that we have utils. In utils we are passing the expiry time of this token. So let's assume that if we have 10 seconds of the expiry time, let me comment everything. Okay, then how it works, like just saving everything. Let me start it over here. npm start. Now our API started. Let's check, try to log in and check it again. First of all, let me change it to the online. Password is 123456. Login. Now I'm going to continuously reloading this page. After 10 seconds, you will see the 401 error is coming. Unauthorized error is coming from the API. So this is how it's worked. So that's why we need to handle this verify token. This is over here. Okay, I hope guys, I think that's it. Let me double check. Yeah, at last we already tested all these things, and I hope guys you like this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up. Thank you.